Hello. What's up, JJ?
How you doing, bro?
How you doing, boo?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, man. Good.
Yeah?
Just tired. I was tired today. Bro.
Yeah, long week?
Yeah.
Long week?
It wasn't too bad. Work wasn't too bad. Work was steady. There's been way less people on the roadways, way less people out. Especially, I don't know if it's because of the curfew thing.
I was going to say, do you
Right.
think it has something to do with the curfew stuff?
Yeah.
The new, scare they're trying to get people with the new COVID,
Yeah.
the uptick in... we got a letter from our city manager about the whole not staying out from 10 to 5. And just reading it, too, I'm like, dude, okay, so COVID don't come out between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m.?
Yeah.
What difference does it make? Come on. Don't treat me like a child.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But
you're right.
yeah, I don't know. That's it. Yeah, I kind of feel, well, the holidays for us at work get super slow. Not as many calls. Not as many people out. It's getting colder. So it's not as busy for us either. But I don't know if law enforcement's the same.
It is. We get a lot of people because everyone's traveling. Everyone's trying to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you get your high points like in the evenings where you get a lot of people that are drunk because they're chilling, drinking all day at the house. And they crash. They'll super stuff like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it is kind of calm. Like people kind of tend to slow down. And like once New Year's comes around, man, it ramps up real hard. Like
Really?
people start acting a fool. Right? And,
With as many things as you can, like, especially nowadays, like call an Uber. How does it make no sense? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I think we've hit on that before. It's just
it,
dumb.
It
dumb.
doesn't make sense every time. It could be a super long conversation. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
No, but I've been chilling. I'm off. I was off Saturday, obviously Saturday, Sunday, and then I'm off till next Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So we've just been chilling.
Damn, that's dope, man.
Yeah, I watched 5 episodes of The Boys, trying to catch up.
Oh yeah, on season 1 or 2?
Season 2.
What do you think about it?
It's good, man. I
dope.
dig that show. That show is bad.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh? It is. Psychologically, what got me on it first was Brightburn. Have you seen Brightburn?
I didn't like Brightburn.
You didn't like it?
I did not like it.
I thought it was okay. But I like the idea, the concept that it's like, hey, this kid.
Yes.
What if Superman was bad
Right.
and not good? And you're
Right.
like, oh shit, that is crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy.
I do. I like the. It's weird because it's such a good show, but there's almost like when Ronnie. It just so happens that Ronnie walks in on the parts that she walks in on. It's like real corny. So you see Homelander standing in his stupid freaking leather outfit and his cape, captain, and his freaking American flag cape and all that stuff. It looks real cornball.
Yeah.
Like real cornball.
Yeah.
So she'll walk in, she's like, oh my gosh, you're watching this again?
Stupid.
And I have to watch it when she was doing hair today.
Okay.
So I just folded laundry and watched it because she won't watch, she doesn't like it. So it's something I got to watch on my own. So I have to binge to make sure I just knock it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's what, eight episodes?
I think it is, yes.
Yeah, so I think I'm in the middle of 5.
What do you think about it so far?
I like it,
Second
dude.
season?
That's a good freaking show. It's a good show.
It's dope, huh?
Yeah, I really, really like it.
Hey, there's a lot of twists and turns.
The thing I caught myself doing today was being like, dude, I freaking hate Homelander. I hate his character. I hate the act. But I'm like, dude, that's it. Probably he's doing his job.
He's doing his
tremendously.
job. Yeah.
Because he's getting me to hate him, and he's even a real person. It's not even a real thing.
Yeah.
So it's done really, really well. I enjoy it. Huey kind of bugs me sometimes.
Yeah, he's a
Dude,
wee-wee, bro.
Come on.
He's a
I
wee-wee.
get it. You're the nerdy, skinny, little, but just enough, the blank stares that he gives, where he's just like looking off. It's like with a sad face. I'm like, dude, all right, get over it at this point. Get over it. You killed somebody. You've seen enough people get killed. Like, you can't be this sensitive still, right? It's just, it's weird. So I did that, and then me and Ronnie watched the whole series of Sneakerheads on Netflix.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it came out, I think it came out this year, if I'm not mistaken, earlier this year.
Bro.
It's pretty good. I don't know, I actually don't know any of that. I've seen them before, but I couldn't tell you their names or what other stuff that they're in. But it was good. I thought they did a good job of blending like the real like anxiety and like drive that people who really go after sneakers have, along with like normal like sitcom drama that you keep people engaged with. It ended terribly.
Oh, it was horrible?
Bro.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
dude. The last it just got so far like outlandish, so far gone. I was like, bro, I can't. This is just too much. But other than that, I thought it was good. I thought it was a pretty good show.
I gotta watch it, man.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Every time I think sneakers, we were just talking about this before we started,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I always look at your shoes every day, and I'm like, damn, man, I'm slipping, bro. I got my Chuck Taylors that I
Dude,
crashed
those are
in,
classics
bro.
though. Those are the motorcycle.
I
Those
know
are
them.
the high top
I
motorcycles.
know, bro. And I'm like, man, they're not too bad from the crash, but you see, like,
Yeah.
I got a busted hole.
Yeah.
I never thought my life would come to this. I never thought my life would come to this, Jay. I gotta buy some more shoes, bro.
Yeah, we used to be big up on sneakers.
Bro,
Yeah.
like crazy. Remember we used to
know.
get the East Bay?
I know.
We got to do
I
a
know.
full episode just on sneakers,
Yeah,
bro.
we
just
will.
on sneakers.
Yeah.
And because there is a lot of anxiety, man. I hated like waking up and getting to the shop and all the guys at the shop sold all the shoes already, or they're lying and saying they don't have your size.
For extra, they held them for somebody for some extra change. Yeah.
And then we're size 12, so then they never ordered 12s. They always got, it's like if they have 100 pairs of shoes, 80 of them are going to be size 9 to 10.
Yep.
Or 8 to 10. And you're like, bro, come on, man.
Yeah. I've done a few raffles since they went to raffles at the malls because they were having trouble with people standing in lines.
People fighting and shit, huh?
People fighting. So did that. Now they got the sneakers app, and you just put your, I think that thing's rigged too, man.
Bro, it is. It is, man.
Well, it's probably maybe I'm just bitter because I've never won. I've never
It's
won
so
a
hard.
raffle on there.
It's so
I've gotten
hard.
sneakers on there because I've been quick on the draw, but on a raffle, like a super like the Ben and Jerry Dunks, the Chunky Dunkies. I tried to get those because, dude, immediately those were selling like they retail for 100. I think it's 110 maybe, and then immediate resale was like over $1,000. And I was like, bro, I would have got rid of those the same day they showed up.
No way.
Yes.
Those are
Yeah,
hard,
so like,
dude.
yeah, but the draw, I don't know who gets it. I sure as heck didn't get it.
I think that's whack as fuck because it's always kind of been proximity, right? Like, I used to go to Beatnik. There was a couple little skate stores I knew that would get dope releases. And like not a lot of people knew about it. So I always thought that was kind of unique because like when you are a sneakerhead, you find those stores and you know where those stores are. Like you don't have to go to the mall. You're not waiting these long ass lines.
Yeah, you make the
like,
connection.
Yeah, you make the connection. Like, hey, when these drop, call me, or hey, blah blah blah. But you got to do it a little bit of the right way, where you're waiting until they drop it. You're there first thing in the morning, and you're boom. Here's the cash. I got them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then I remember when the first Spizikes came out, they had them at Beatnik, and that was when I was living in Fullerton. And I like called in late for like, hey, I'm late Saturday. I don't feel good, and I went to Beatnik, man. But I went like a couple days before and bought a couple pairs of shoes. And I went in and bought like 2-3 pairs of shoes. I get on these kicks with like New Balances and like Adidas and Times and kind of like some little like casual sneakers, a little casual classic athletic sneaker. And I went and bought a couple pairs of shoes. And the dude that worked there, like 2 of his boys came in and he was like, yo, we got the new Spizikes, the first pair of Spizikes. And I was like, bro, I'm waiting for those to drop. And he's like, oh, they don't drop till Saturday. And then his boy comes in and he sold him 2 pairs. And then his boy called someone and he was like, they're over there whispering like, give me, like, he's okay, put him in the bag. Okay. And I was like, bro.
Yeah, they show.
I was ready to fight his ass.
They show in like on the first episode of that show, the little trick they used to do, right? They used to, right, I think on this one, the Cement 4s were coming out. So some dude pulled up, right? And it's like he was the plug. He walked up, the dude from in the store walked out, but rather than handing him a Jordan box, he handed him the Adidas box. Like he bought some Boost instead of some Jordans, but it turns out the dude from in the store just swapped the shoe. So he sold him the 4s in the Adidas box just to make sure his boy got the shoe. So there's little tricks like that people used to pull all the time, but yeah, but no. The show was pretty good. It was pretty good. Like I said, it was a little bit corny sometimes, but I mean, I enjoyed it. It's not very. I don't think it's that many. It's like 6 or 7 episodes maybe. So we just killed it in the day. We killed it last night.
Okay, I gotta watch it.
But yeah, it was pretty good. So I just been Dude, with this time off, I just been binging. The kids spent the night at my mom's yesterday. And so Ronnie watches The Crown. I freaking hate that stuff,
What
dude.
is that about?
It's about like the royal family in England.
Is it like a? Is it
It's
real
like
shit or is it
no.
like?
She watches all those. Like she watched the one on Princess Diana last night, yeah, it was yesterday. And then she watches The Crown, and The Crown is like it would be like The Sopranos.
Oh, okay, like a
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
drama.
But it's obviously about the real stuff that happened with the royal family.
Oh shit, like
Yeah.
a reenactment.
Yeah, like a biography.
What channel does it come on?
It's Netflix. I think it's on Netflix.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. I think it's on Netflix.
Ron would watch something like
Yeah,
that.
I hate that stuff, dude. Nothing interests me less than that type of stuff, dude.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
just whack.
I do not care at all about that.
That's why.
So
Sadie's been watching. She's been binge watching. Criminal Minds and shit
Charlie,
like that.
her and Charlie,
Yeah.
they watch the same stuff.
She'll
dude.
be in the living room like, oh my gosh, Dad, this guy killed this lady. And I'm like, damn, should she be watching this shit?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, man, but she's like into it. She'll be like, she
Charlie
watch
loves
it
that
all
stuff.
day, bro.
Charlie loves that, and she loves Law and Order. The other movie we watched too was that Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh,
Shia
yeah, you were
LaBeouf,
talking about
dude.
that. What do you think about Shia?
Such a
Shia
good
LaBeouf?
movie. I've always been a fan of his. I always thought he was. So even okay, so I had a one way of feeling about him, right? So I always thought he was like a little bit like out there, and like there was something kind of, I don't want to say off, because I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, but something, he was just, you can tell there was something like bugging him or something about him. It was really weird. But then you watch that movie Honey Boy, and that's about his life, and he plays his dad. And you see the kind of like life he had and how he grew up in show business and all that stuff, dude. You're like, bro, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. He had a rough childhood, but I think he's a tremendous talent, man.
Bro, I think
tremendous
he's dope.
talent.
He is dope.
Yeah.
I've always felt like, it seems like he has a wide universe in his mind, and you know, I think sometimes, you know, it's hard for people to understand and comprehend and to get along, and for people to, he probably just feels like a lot of people don't understand him.
Yeah.
Especially as a kid, too,
I've always felt like he is who he is. Right? He's never tried to be somebody else.
Yes, yeah.
Right? Whatever he has said or expressed has always been like genuine to him.
Yes.
He's never tried to jump. Yeah, he's never tried to jump on something. So yeah, I thought, and then I watched that movie Tax Collector with him in it. I've heard bad things about it, but I liked it. I thought it was all right.
I liked it. I expected more. The edit was hard. When I was like, oh.
Well, David Ayers, man, he's put out ridiculous stuff, dude. Right? Training Day, End of Watch, and then you expect the exact same great things with the Tax Collector, and it didn't quite deliver.
The acting wasn't that good.
No.
The acting wasn't that
No.
good. The
And it was
crazy
kind of
ass
like,
dude that like.
and I feel like they tried to rush it at the end too
yes,
much. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But no, I thought it was okay though. But that was just another Shia piece that was good. But the Peanut Butter Falcon, dude, me, Ronnie, and all the kids watched it and they loved it.
gotta
dude.
watch
It's
it,
such a
man.
good movie, man. Such a good movie.
I love that movie he
So.
did with Hardy, the
Fury?
old school one.
Fury?
The old one.
Lawless.
Lawless, yes,
Lawless,
that
Lawless,
shit's hard.
Lawless,
yeah,
Lawless.
I love
Yeah.
Lawless, man. That's a dope movie.
Yeah.
I like that movie a
I
lot.
don't think I only saw like half of it. I don't think I saw the whole thing. I have a tough time with old movies like that because I tried to watch 310 to Yuma with Christian Bale,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, this is like a dope movie. Like it's tough. Like I just can't get interested. Everything's so slow.
It's slow.
Same thing like
It
West.
is,
Like
yeah.
I can't do westerns.
I love
Can't
that
do
shit.
westerns.
I love it. You know, I like
never
like guns and shit. I love that shit.
I've never seen like a Clint Eastwood western or a.
Yeah, you know,
none
those
of
are
those
rough.
type- yeah,
Those
none
are
of
rough,
those.
bro.
So
Those are real rough. That you have to be a special kind of person or really old. to
Ronnie's dad
understand.
loves those.
He
ones.
loves this shit.
Dude.
Even
loves
those
them.
old people that watch stuff like that, they'll be like the whole time like,
Yes. Tombstone. I've never seen Tombstone. That's George's favorite movie.
you never seen,
Never seen Tombstone.
bro.
No.
Oh, that's hands down top 1 and top 10, bro.
No, I've never
Hands
seen
down.
Tombstone.
With Val Kilmer. I told Sienna if we have a son, Virgil. I like Virgil.
Virgil.
The name Virgil.
That's dope.
That name's dope. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
hey, we should name the boy Virgil. Yeah,
Virgil.
that'd be
Is he
gangster.
one of the guys on there?
Yeah, the brother. He's one of the brothers.
Okay. One of the Earps?
Yeah.
Virgil Earp?
Yeah, I think he is Virgil. Because I think him and Wyatt were brothers. Or maybe him and the other dude were brothers. Maybe not with Wyatt. I've seen it a million times and I can't even tell you.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know
it's dope. I'm like, man.
every time I hear the word
Johnny
tombstone,
Ringo.
every time I hear tombstone, I think of the stupid pizza commercials.
Oh,
What would you like on your tombstone?
Yeah.
That's all I can think of.
Bro, mom and grandma would watch the same. Grandma's favorite channel was AMC, so she'd watch the same old movies all the time, and they would call each other. She'd be like, Cynthia, mom be like, yeah. She's like, The Godfather's on. My grandma must have watched The Godfather a million times,
Really?
and every time it comes back on, she'd be like, The Godfather's on. You
Like,
know,
it's the
like I'd
greatest
watch it
movie
like it's the
ever.
first time she's ever seen it.
Yeah.
So cute, so cute. Mom's the same way. Mom's like, Johnny, The Godfather's on. And anything Denzel Washington, mom loves Denzel Washington.
Yeah. All day.
Like,
All
she'll
day.
watch his movies over and over, back to back. And then if you're like, Mom, find something on TV. She'll be like, what do you want to watch? Be like, I don't know. And she'll just be like, let's just watch The Equalizer. And I'm like, Mom, you played that last time.
Yeah. She loves it though.
Yeah, she's like, well, you want to watch Equalizer 2? And I'm like,
I think
"All right,
Equalizer
Mom."
1's better. I like
It was
I like
dope,
one
yeah.
better. Yeah, I like one better. That's how Ronnie is though. I think she got that habit from her dad, because they used to watch. He's known by everybody to watch the same movies over and over and over again, and Ronnie does the exact same thing. But I think it's kind of like a comfort thing.
Yeah.
For a lot of us, right? Like, hands down, my favorite movie is Bloodsport. By far, whenever it's on, I can recite the entire movie, no matter what.
I remember since we were kids.
Dude, no matter what, Bloodsport. But I think if I didn't just start a movie or start a series and it didn't catch Ronnie's, like that's how we were watching Game of Thrones. I just started it and Ronnie was like, I'm not gonna watch this. This is stupid. Boom, hooked. But because I started it, like she wouldn't start
Like
it on
she
her.
won't take the initiative to start.
No.
You have to. You know, Siena's like that. Sienna will come and ask, like, "Hey, what are we gonna watch?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, we'll watch this." She doesn't like sci-fi shit though at
I
all.
love sci-fi.
I
favorite.
I waited
favorite.
for the kids to watch Mandalorian. I didn't watch.
I haven't watched none of it yet.
Not even season 1.
None of it.
Oh, bro, you got so much TV.
None of it.
What about Dexter? Have you ever seen Dexter?
So we were up to, I want to say it's season 3. We got up to season 3. Yeah, I think it was season 3, because season 2 is where it's his brother, right? That's the killer.
Shit, I don't remember.
Yeah. Because I can't remember.
Ice cream truck killer. Wasn't it the ice cream truck, or he was painting the
So
girl's nails? He was painting the nails,
Yeah,
right?
I think so. So I think we were on like season 3, like the middle of season 3. But that's a good show. But it's hard. It's hard to watch this because you have to watch this stuff without the kids around.
Yeah.
So it's hard to watch that.
You do. We would literally binge.
Yeah.
When the kids were asleep or they were with their mom, something like that. We'd be like, come on, let's watch this. Go.
Yeah.
That.
We've never seen Breaking Bad. I never seen Breaking Bad.
I didn't like it.
No?
I did not like it. I didn't like it. I couldn't get into it.
I want to start The Sopranos, but at the same time I don't, because I feel like I'm not going to like it. It seems like it's super, super slow. Super slow. And I have a rough time paying attention. Unless you keep my attention and all that, like
It was good. It was good, but I think that I missed a couple seasons at some point, and then I was like lost.
Did you watch it live, like as it was coming out, or did you watch it after?
Yeah,
live?
as it was coming out.
Okay.
As it was coming out, because I got into The Sopranos and The Wire. I feel like those two shows.
I heard The Wire's really dope.
The Wire it's so dope.
There's another one that's like that. Oz. Is that the other one? Oz?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Oz either, but I heard good things about Oz.
I think those all came around at the same time, if I'm right, or at least they're really close within each other. But like Oz, Sopranos, Wire, were so dope, and you had so many actors and actresses that came out that weren't really big names, but they were killing it. And then that's what like really started to lead to lead the path right now for I think actors, because I love watching movies and shows and shit.
Yeah.
And that's what led the path now and opened it up for so many people, because now you have like Hulu originals, Netflix
Yeah, yeah,
originals,
yeah,
you got
absolutely.
Amazon originals, you know, you got
It's
YouTube
amazing
has
that
TV.
regular TV like USA and Fox is still even the thing with all these originals people
Yeah,
coming out with.
and they are blowing them
Yeah.
out. Like Narcos, have you seen Narcos on Netflix?
I want to say it was the first season. Yeah, I think it was the first season. But that stuff, like Ronnie, that stuff's it's too real.
Oh, that's she
Yeah,
did say that.
yeah,
Huh?
it's too real.
That's
So
right.
it's like not scares you, but gives like anxiety.
I like it that it has a hit of history, like it's real shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then they're kind of like reenacting it. It's super dope. But to
Yeah.
see like them act it out and see them portray, see them work,
Yeah.
and see them in their environments, like oh that's dope. Like the guy who played Pablo Escobar, we were dying.
He's like a Brazilian guy, isn't he? I think he's like a Brazilian actor.
the dude who played him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen him before. I
Yeah.
was like, man, this guy did a great job.
I think it's Brazilian, something like
He
that.
did a really
yeah.
good job.
Isn't it crazy too how like how different people take movies on, like as far as like what you think is good versus not.
Yeah.
Like there isn't a like something that's more, in my opinion, more subjective than movies. Because there's movies that my brother, you know, Dalen is a gigantic movie buff.
Remember he made that little
Dude,
movie when
yeah,
he was a kid?
yeah, yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
that was hard, man.
dude.
He did a great job.
He was
man.
in it,
He
bro.
did a great job.
But he loves movies, dude. And the way that he views them and sees them and thinks about them and looks at the way like they're put together and directed and produced and set design and all that stuff is way different. Like we were just talking about the movie. I think it's Drive. I think it's Drive, the one with man, that white dude that's in The Notebook. I can't remember his
Ryan
name.
Reynolds?
Ryan
Fitzpatrick?
Gosling.
I'm just kidding.
the beard.
Yeah,
No,
the beard.
Ryan
No,
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
soft, bro.
So it's the movie Drive. It's a good movie. It's really weird, like really, really weird. But
like
my
in
brother
what, in what way?
So there's really not a lot of in my opinion, there's not a lot of substance in the movie. It doesn't give you much background about him. It doesn't give you the background of kind of what he's doing. He's just some dude he's like a race car or a stunt driver.
Oh, okay.
And then he takes a liking to this girl. She's got a family and a husband who's in some crazy stuff. Went to prison, owes people money, all this kind of stuff. But there's not a lot of substance. And actually, the thing that got us talking about it was the soundtrack. The soundtrack is so dope.
Oh yeah.
So dope.
Who's
yeah.
that? What is it?
Kavinsky. So it's a lot of like techno type music. But it's
Ah.
really, really dope. So that's what got us talking about it. And then we were talking about, he was like, dude, that movie is a masterpiece. It's like an art thing. And I'm like, all right. I mean, if you say so. Like,
So
to me, it just
but
don't.
as a viewer, you felt like you were lost.
So
like you were just...
and it's weird because I love, like, when it comes to comedy, dude, give me the dumbest slapstick comedy you can't. Like, it could be like I don't know, they're in a concert, opera concert, and the guy sits down and farts. Like, that's funny to me. It doesn't have to be witty comedy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, stupid funny is funny to me.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I can also take a movie in like Inception or something like that causes you to like think and it causes you to kind of.
Is so hard. Bro.
And that's
I
just
love
the one
Leonardo,
that.
bro.
Yeah, that's just the one that. There's obviously other movies out there too that pull that kind of response, but like, and I can do those movies as well. But there's just movies where I'm like, okay, it was a decent movie. I don't see this art masterpiece that you see. It just don't. It don't register to me like that.
So why did he say that? What's artistic about it?
Just I guess the way that the cinematography through it, the kind of the dialogue that they use between everybody, and it is a very slow paced movie. But I just thought it was just okay. I didn't see it as like this big thing, and I don't even think we talked about like because another movie is the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Did you see that one?
I haven't. Is it good?
I didn't like it at all.
I didn't. It didn't look. It
I
didn't
did
look
not like
appealing.
it. The only part of the movie that is good is literally the last 10 minutes of the movie. It is such a long movie, and I get it. Like, there's a lot of decent like aspects and parts of it, like the relationship between actor and stuntman, and then just the other little parts that they play in it. But it was just whatever. I didn't think it was that good.
Yeah, the plot didn't seem interesting, and then I read or I heard something about it being similar to like some story of like a serial killer or Charles Manson or some shit, and I was
They
just
try to they weld in like their fictional version of it.
I wasn't interested in that.
I
was
did like I did like Brad Pitt's moccasins in the movie though. They were dope.
they're hard.
They were dope. They were dope.
You know-
I got some similar.
Me and Sienna started watching. Is it like Gone in the Dark or something like that? It's on Netflix. It's about that lady. Is it McNamara who started like the little true crime podcast thing, and she started doing all this crazy shit, and then because Sienna,
Kaylee
something-
McNamara makes sense.
right?
It sounds familiar.
I don't remember her first name, but she passed away. I think her husband's like an actor or something.
Is it Kaylee? Why does that name
It
pop
might
into
be,
my head?
yeah. It might be something like that.
But no, I haven't seen that one.
It's pretty dope so far. We haven't. We kind of stopped. I don't know why we had to leave or we left somewhere. We kind of stopped watching it, but like I have to wait for her to watch it because she'll be like, "Why are you watching it without me?" And then I'll go to work and she'll watch it and be like, "Hey, I watched this whole entire show while you're at work this weekend."
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro.
That's usually how it ends up with me and Ronnie too. We the only thing that we stuck with, not jumping ahead with each other, like back and forth with each other, was Game of Thrones. We only did it like twice, and she watched the episode while I was at work because we just wanted to catch up. And then I watched it on my lunch. I watched the episode on my lunch break on my phone. So we were still, we didn't watch it together.
You
but
like
we were
watch it right now.
Yeah, we were still we were still in the same part. So, but we stuck pretty close, linked up on that one.
Sienna watched Game of Thrones because I did, but she did not care about it. She was like always lost.
Dude, so good.
Like halfway through the episode, she's on her phone, and I was just like, "Babe, this
So
show
good.
is dope."
So good. Well, besides the last season,
Yeah, I was disappointed, man.
doo-doo. They told us that Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen were related for absolutely no reason at all.
Like,
No reason at all. It did nothing to the entire series.
yeah, like where were they gonna go? What was
Nothing.
Bro,
So
I was disappointed, man. When they ended Dexter too, like, I was pissed with the way they ended Dexter. I won't say it because you haven't finished it.
no. I heard that he
man.
like a lot of the seasons towards the end though weren't very good because he was sick. He had like some, I don't know if it was cancer or something. But I guess
No,
that
man, I think he
affected.
did a great job. They're
Yeah.
dope. But like the way they kept it going, I thought was really wise. Like the writers, the directors, I think they did a great job. But the way that they ended it was trash, bro. And supposedly, I read online that they're supposed to have like a little spin-off of it. And so I won't tell you. I'll let you
spoilers?
finish it. Yeah, but
All right.
I love that show, man.
Okay.
I absolutely love Dexter.
All right,
That's
we'll have
just
to
hard.
finish it. We'll
Yeah.
have to finish. We just took a break from it. I mean, there's so much to freaking watch out
Oh,
there,
dude,
dude.
and I love documentaries. I got
Yeah.
that from David, man. David's always watching documentaries.
The other one that we watched, and Ronnie, this is the problem with Ronnie. If it's a true story and well, obviously it's already happened, but if there's been some sort of conclusion, she cannot wait. She has to look on her phone and Google what
yes,
happened,
yeah,
look at the
yeah.
court, all that stuff, dude.
Sienna does the same
Dude,
shit.
it's so annoying. So we were watching the Oscar Pistorius,
Okay.
the Blade Runner, the
Yes,
dude that killed
he
his girlfriend. And it's like, this is like four part, 6-part, something like that.
Mm-hmm,
We only had one left, and she was like, I'm not gonna watch it. I already looked it up. I know what happens already.
Oh,
and I'm
what?
like, come on, you're gonna leave me hanging,
Bro.
You're gonna leave me hanging.
Me and Sienna
Yeah.
would sit down and I'll be like, babe, check this out. Look, this show's about this guy. He didn't have any legs. He ran in the Olympics. And she'll be like, what's his name? And then like, but by the time I'm like not even paying attention, like, oh, Oscar Pistoria or Pistoria, whatever his name is, right? and then she'll be like, "Oh, he killed his wife in 2006, and what? He was and I'm like, watch
Yeah,
it,
that's what we're
stop,
doing.
put your phone down, let's
Yeah.
watch it and figure it out, let it unravel."
Yeah, yeah, that was crazy. Did you watch it?
I want to
documentary?
say we did. I think I fell asleep though. I fell asleep a couple of times.
It's pretty wild, man. The conclusion of it is pretty wild, I think.
It was
they
a
have
wild story, bro. At first, I was like, "There's no way."
But then they show how like how much South Africa specifically was trying to get a hold of all of the severe issues with domestic violence, and how Oscar Pistorius was a perfect, not saying he did or didn't do it, but he was a perfect person to throw all of this on as like, got him. And not only that, it was a black judge presiding over the case. It wasn't even a jury. It was all on her.
All on her.
And it was like, got him. Got this privileged white guy who ran in the Olympics, who thought he was all this and all the sponsors and
Everybody
blah, blah, blah,
loved
blah.
him.
Loved him. And we can make an example of this guy. So, I don't know. All the stuff that they brought in, like that investigator or that, that crime scene analysis guy to remake this crime scene. And all the stuff that he ran through, dude, seemed completely plausible to me.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this seems
I was like, by the end, I was
exactly
like, oh, dude, I was stressed out, bro. I'm like,
I don't think he did it. Yeah.
let's go to James Corn Dog. Let's
Yeah.
go get some.
Yeah,
get
dude.
some ice cream.
Crazy, huh?
That was
Crazy though. But that was good.
And I rooted for him in the Olympics because I was like, that's dope. It's
Yeah,
dope because he was like at an Olympic level. He was at an ultra high level of competition. And that was so dope. You see like the guys in the military, they come back and they're amputees and they're hardcore. A lot of people like just the ability of the human mind to adapt, and the body and the perseverance that you see from those individuals is so fucking dope.
Yeah, I'm sure it's inspirational too to people in the same situation, same predicament. Like that was a big thing with him. He went and visited that one kid. I think he was in Iceland or something. It was a little boy born with this almost the same exact thing, and they had to do the amputations and stuff. It was like the same thing, and like he created a great relationship with that little boy and the family because they wanted to be able to relate with somebody who was going and had gone through the same thing. So it's got to be uplifting to everybody that's got that kind of ailment. I mean,
so powerful.
Yeah, it's crazy though. Crazy stuff.
That's crazy. I was thinking like, if I ran track and I had to run against him, and I'd be like, man, I ain't letting up. I ain't letting up on nothing, bro. Like I'm going balls to the wall. I'm sorry.
Yep. He'll probably still smoke you though.
But I remember some people that were losing were saying that he was faster because there were springs and.
Well, they were saying so the number one thing that they said was that he doesn't have as much. I can't remember what, I think it was energy, some sort of energy thing where, in a normal ankle, the way that it's engineered, it gives back so much, or it absorbs so much and then releases so much, right? Certain numbers. Where they're saying the spring that it was on his blade, it didn't absorb as much. So therefore he had more of a spring. But I'm like, bro, he doesn't even have, like he can't feel the ground on it. He doesn't even have feet. Like, come on.
Bro.
Unless he's got electric legs that's running for him, he's still got to use
and he's just
everything else. Yeah, dude.
Like that Levi's commercial.
Yeah, he's still got to use everything else, dude.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. And then the rest of his body is working so much harder. But the actual, the concept of how hard he had to work to get to that point, to be able to run that fast, the level of stability, because of the form and the function of running is different from him just trying to walk around on springs with no legs and feet.
Right.
And so now for him to be able to conquer that feat and to be able to sprint with top tier level athletes is
fastest people in the world.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's dope.
It's nuts, man.
So dope, man. I was like, wow, this guy's
he's somebody obviously that like competition, like he thrived off of the competition, And I would even argue it was more so with the people. Like you can have competition within yourself, you can have competition with others, but I think what it seemed to me was the competition from him came from like doubters,
Yeah.
and people were like, no, 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 you can't, or and then also probably within him too, wanting to be the best, not just do right the like Special Olympics or the Paralympics. He wanted to do what they call able. He wanted to run with able-bodied people, and that's like a crazy, crazy like drive to want to push yourself that hard to compete with people who who like. I mean, to be they're all obviously all those sprinters. They're gifted, but they work extremely, extremely hard, right? He doesn't have those. He doesn't have feet. Right, I think it was like from the mid shin down was amputated. Right, and he was willing to work that hard to push, to overcome, and to be like, "No, I'm doing this."
That's so good.
Yeah, it's dope, man. I wonder if that's and they didn't really talk about it much in the documentary, but I wonder if that came like where he got that from. Right, is that competitive drive? I think all of us who have kids see it in one form or another. Like the competitive drive or non-competitive drive that are in our kids, like that we had as kids ourselves, or that we feel now, and like, oh yeah, I was just like that as a kid, never wanted to lose, all that kind of stuff. So I wonder if that's something that's like hereditary, or if it's like because I don't know how you could nurture that. Like there are also people who competition frightens them. And it almost makes them be like, well, I just won't do it. I just don't want to. I don't want to compete, so I'm just not going to do it then. And then at that point, as a parent, do you try to twist it and be like, okay, well, don't worry about the competition of the other people that are out there. Try to do it. Be the best. If this is something that you love and you love to do, right? And that's probably more like focused on like an individual type sport. Just try and beat every little aspect of whatever you do. Try to be better and better and faster and whatever the case is, because trying to put them up against somebody is just going to make them. It's just not what that's not how they thrive. They can't handle it. I don't know if it's a pressure thing or what it is.
I don't know, man. I think obviously next I would ask you what you think and what your personal experience is, because my personal experience is like, even since playing football, even now, like shooting and guns and learning, like, to me, it's about, like, I remember the first time I played Pop Warner football, I remember it wasn't like a competition against the other kids. I remember thinking it was like, can I learn this and can I do it? And can I do it right? And then it became like a competition to see like how well I could do what I needed to do. Like even if it was like a back pedal, like I didn't care to like be the fat, like to race someone back. Well, like that wasn't my justification. My justification for like learning how to backpedal or being good at backpedaling as a DB was never like, oh, as long as I beat them physically. Like no, there was so much to me. It's form. It's, can you pivot fast? Can I step fast? Can I respond? Can I turn around? Can I do a turn around, do it, boom, back pedal, turn around, back? Can I, like, and then how well and how proficient was I at that? That was like my drive. And that was like, oh shit, like, okay, like even now, like with guns and shooting.
Was it that, so it was that then? Has it been the same all the way up until now?
All the way, even now. It's like, when I want to learn something and I want to, like at work, like, you know, it's like a really low level of training as far as guns go and shooting and shit. And I was just like, man, I want to know, like, how do I place this round where I wanted to go? And a lot of people didn't know the answer. So I was like, okay, well, I'm willing to put the energy in to figure it out. And then, but now, like, that level of energy is like immense, like where it's like sometimes you end up like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I'll be up to like 5 o'clock in the morning, like reading, writing, taking notes, like crazy stuff, man. I'm learning about metacarpals, your metacarpals and your carpal tunnel and the metacarpal bone in your hand. your joints, your distal, your proximal joints. Like, okay, how does this like fit like biologically? What's happening? What are you doing? What's your mind doing? How do you perceive it? What's the gun doing? Looking at physics, like I just want to know. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
have to know it. And
Yeah.
then like from there, it just kind of spawns into like this crazy idea or concept of like, okay, this is what's going on.
How do you?
And that's almost like the only way I can comprehend it
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. How do? Yeah, that makes sense because then that obviously gives you the drive to continue to want to be the best at that thing or at least learn them, and it's only for yourself, right? It's not necessarily to to use it in a competition, whatever, even though you can. But would you
Yes.
say that that same mentality, or how do you translate that into being like, I don't know, playing a basketball game, like a 3-on-3 pickup game? Like, what does that does that mindset? That's I don't know. To me, I can't see how it could even be the same or even transferable into playing people.
You know what? It's not
It's
like
just you
to
just
me.
do
It's
it.
like like when I played basketball, I always felt like what was the most important thing was knowing how to dribble. It was
Yeah,
like soccer,
yeah,
right? Like my thing in soccer is the two most important things are stamina and dribbling, right? Like you should be able to dribble the shit out of that ball without so now if I am gonna play soccer, my only focus is what's going on in the field. So like in my mind and physically, I should have my ball handling skills should be so dope that I don't need to think about them. Now I can just be like boom boom like, oh, where's Jaren at? Like, you know, and then
yeah,
now
yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like that was my focus. Like, but so like in competitive wise, like if we go play ball in the 3-on-3, like my thing is like, okay, I know how to dribble and I'll dribble, but I don't care about the competition side
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's like even Michael Jordan lost basketball games.
yeah.
Even Michael Jordan got dunked on. Even Michael Jordan got sick. Even Michael Jordan got hurt. Even Michael Jordan had bad games.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like the drive of trying to be perfect and to beat everyone it's unrealistic. So now it's like, oh, okay, but the drive to be a perfectionist at how you do something or how it needs to be done is like that's what I like about Kobe Bryant so much. It was almost like he was a perfectionist. Like it wasn't. I don't know. I don't know the guy. You could see shit on TV or maybe with someone
Yeah.
hears, but it just seemed like his drive to be good, like technically sound, is like, oh, like I
Yeah.
mess with that all day long.
He yeah, he demanded a lot of himself
Yes.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't know. For me, competition, I feel like I want to compete in absolutely everything. Like, to me, everything is a competition.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember distinctly being at work, and we had this big. We had just like overhauled a rugby field, right? And we had scalped everything, laser leveled everything. Everything was perfect. All we're waiting for now is the sod, and we had sprinklers in, but we wanted to make sure everything was good. So what we did was where the sprinkler goes, we drilled holes in the caps, capped the line, did all of our leveling, and then when we were all done, then the last thing to go in was the sprinklers. We turned them on, and they shot holes out of the ground, and we knew where to put the sprinkler in. We didn't have to mess with anything else. No
Yeah.
digging. That way, there was the least amount of like dips in the turf. It could be
Yes.
as
You weren't coming. You
yeah.
leveled
It
it out.
was
You know, they come back and
right.
dig and try to. Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so we did all that, and I remember there was a bunch of us out there when we were doing all of this, but we all had like a bunch of sprinklers, and then we were going through all the holes and taking off the caps and putting the sprinklers on, and in my mind, I felt myself wanting to do it faster, but not just do it faster, but do it the right way,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
move on.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
out of my peripheral, watching how the other people were doing it, whether they know they're in a competition with me or not, didn't matter. I wanted to go
created
faster.
a competition.
I wanted to go faster, and I wanted to do it faster. And it was like, dude, what? Like, why?
Why? Like,
Why?
where? Yeah.
Like, this could be
yeah.
perceived as like a real dick move.
Yeah,
Like, dude,
yeah,
relax.
yeah.
It's not that
Yeah,
serious.
like, bro.
Yeah.
Slow down, Jared.
And then with the most irrelevant stuff like that, right? That's irrelevant of whether you do it faster or not.
Yeah.
But then you take it to like real competition,
Yeah.
and you take it to like football and stuff like that. Like I always I felt like I wanted to be like the best at what I was doing, But there was like and I don't know what it was. And this is the stuff I try to teach the kids is like I just wanted to be it. And I felt like when I was doing it, I was doing well, but the prep work it wasn't there like it should have been. I wasn't preparing myself to be the best on the field in that position to do those techniques and do all this stuff. But I always wanted to. When I was out there, I was working my butt off.
Yeah.
And I worked super, super hard to do it. But I think there's always been a little part of me also that goes along with competitions, like a fear aspect. Because I've always been like the big guy, because I've always been pretty athletic and pretty good at sports, it's almost expected of me to be super, super good or super, like have the ability to do anything. And like specifically translating with that, or a example of that is jiu-jitsu. Like doing jiu-jitsu, like I came in and I did pretty well. I was holding my own with a lot of the upper ranked guys, the guys that have been there a lot of years, and just doing like little in-house competitions or sparring with those guys. Like I would do well, but then it would come to competition time and I would be afraid to lose because everybody sees me as like, oh, he does really, really good in the gym.
He's big,
he's big, he's strong, he's athletic. Like, and then it gave me a little bit of complex too, because everyone would always say when I'd beat them, not everybody, but one of the number one excuses, and it's a fair excuse, I'll give them that, it's fair. The number one thing I heard though was, man, you're so strong. Man, you're so big. I'm like, dude, give me a little bit of credit on my technique too. Right? Like I didn't just grab your arm and pull it over here.
To where you couldn't control it. Yeah, where it's like he's 100 pounds.
Yeah, so.
And you're over 200.
I understand the argument about being bigger and stronger, right? There are those advantages. But when you come to competition, right, you're competing against as your own size, your own age, your own weight, all of that stuff. The fear crept in a little bit. It's like, man, maybe I'm not as good as everybody assumes I am. And then what are they going to look at me? How are they going to look at me when I lose?
What makes that fear? Is it because maybe you're not training with that same type of level of competition on a daily basis?
I'm sure. But I see that I think translates to everything. And I think one of the things that goes right along with is like public speaking. We had a conversation with someone. I had actually a conversation with someone about this the other day. I don't think it was you. I think it was at that Friendsgiving thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Public speaking. Yeah. Right? If you know what you're doing, you know what you're talking about, you're very well versed in what it is, you're not worried.
Yeah, that confidence.
So the same thing goes for competition, right? Jiu-jitsu specifically. If you're training super hard, if you're busting your butt in the gym, if you're doing extra like cardio, strength, of course you're going to go in. And I never felt like I was doing all of that stuff, especially when you get to these super big competitions. Dude, these people put on like 8-week training camps, 6-week training camps.
What?
Where that's all, these people are, they're professional jiu-jitsu people.
Wow.
They spend all day at the gym, several times a day. They get paid from doing competitions. They get paid from sponsorships. That's how they make their money. They have little parts and ownerships in gyms, but that's literally all they do is jiu-jitsu. And I never did that. I never did extra cardio. I never did a training camp. None of that stuff. I just trained with the dudes at the gym. And I would always, and I don't, that's not blaming the gym, but that's just like, dang, like, can I hold my own against some of these people that are probably doing all of this stuff? But then I would try to do the trick, right? The mind trick on myself, being like, if you lose, who cares? You're not those jiu-jitsu guys. You do it because you enjoy it, because it's fun. You want to test yourself a little bit.
So is this right before the competition?
Yes.
Like you're trying to convince yourself.
This is like this is like several days before.
Oh man,
who cares?
We're just doing this for fun, man.
Yeah, who cares? But then I'm like, damn, but I paid like $180 to get into this competition.
Yeah. You're like, I gotta get in here and show out.
Yeah. So, there's little things like that. But obviously, the more you train, the more you, the more you prepare yourself, you're gonna feel better about what you're doing.
Yes.
You're gonna feel more ready, more prepared. And that's why like the kids, when they show interest in anything, like I'm all for it. I'm all for giving them the tools that they need to be the best that they can at whatever sport it is they want to do, or whatever I mean, anything. You want to do anything. I'm going to try to give you the best tools and the most tools I can to where you can succeed and feel good about yourself, right? And because if you go out and you put on the best performance and you get beat, sometimes that just happens. Unless you have like an insane. I read a book a while ago. Well, I read the partial part of the book. It was who's the old linebacker for Denver and Oakland? The white dude. He had a Polish last name.
Koskowski, not damn, what's his name?
You know who I'm talking about though?
Yeah.
Real mean dude.
Yeah, crazy dude.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
dope. Like, he's like number 51 or something,
54,
55?
51. Dang it. He wanted to say Rob, but it ain't Rob. Oh.
Got the handy dandy iPad because this is gonna bug me. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Okay. So in his book, he went to Boston College. He knew that there was much more talented people on his football team, his teammates, way more talented. So what he told himself was, they will never outwork me. They'll be more talented than me, but they will never outwork me. So that just goes to show his drive to be, he thrived on wanting to be the best, and he was going to do absolutely everything, almost to a sick point, you know, in how he looked at things and how he attacked things. In his approach, he knew that he wasn't as talented as those dudes. So he would go and run hill sprints. He would wake up at 4 a.m., all of that stuff, dude, just so he could have what the other guys weren't willing to do, right? He wasn't gifted the same abilities, but he wanted to be in that position, to be the starter, to make it to the NFL.
Romanowski.
So, Bill Romanowski.
Yes. I just found it, bro.
Yeah, Bill Romanowski.
Yeah.
It's called something Slaying Dragons and something, but there was, the first part was a good book. The first part was a good book. But yeah, it just goes, that's like something in him, like that drive to want to be the absolute best, and he did everything he could to be the best.
You know, as a father, I feel like that, like, having experienced that level of confidence, like I always thought, like when I was younger, it was like, this is the way I teach my kids confidence too. But it's hard because like my daughter doesn't have the same drive as, like, she wants to be the best at this. She's like, I don't really feel like doing that, Dad. And as a dad, I'm like, well, fuck, how do I teach her? Like, how do I teach her to be confident?
Yeah.
Then, you know, so it's always kept me on my toes a little bit. Like now, even with like shooting, like I became, and I say it humbly, like I say it humbly because I put a lot of work in. Like I became the best shooter in my given office. I don't know. You have guys that are amazing shooters as civilians that just kind of shoot for fun, and they will outshoot law enforcement, military all day. So which is so cool. Yeah, and like you, for instance, right? And which is it's so dope. But like my drive now is how do you, like, how to cultivate it, like how do you cultivate that in people, but not even like the level of competition, but the level of performance. Like how do you tap into performance, and like, because sometimes it's
You mean
always gonna be
specifically
hard.
with law enforcement?
I think with everything, and that's probably the number one place where I practice it, because now once you get that level of confidence and you show up, and when I go to training and I'm at training, it's like, oh, okay, this is easy. Like I know what to do. You know what I mean? And there's a sense of comfort.
There's like a big. I feel like there's like even an extra layer with that though, because you're talking about the usefulness of that specifically in their profession, right? It's even less about competition and more about survival.
Yes.
And preparedness.
Yeah.
You know, for the dangerous job that you guys do.
Yeah, for real. And so like that, and I think that having that aspect of like the survival and the preparedness for what we do, and being prepared, or having like the cognitive ability to be able to respond and to think, and like when crazy shit's going on, Like now it's like a challenge for me to be like, okay, well, if I feel comfortable, then I want the guy next to me to feel comfortable too. And how do I facilitate that?
Yeah.
How do I facilitate that? How do I how can I transcend this? Maybe not even the work ethic, but at least the idea, the concept, the principle, or the how to that individual. And because we've had that conversation before. I was telling you the book I read. And it's the principle of least effort. You know what I mean? Like we always try to find the way to do it the easiest. Like that's never been our personalities. Where you're right. Like it could be the smallest thing, like to people, whatever they may perceive, and we're like, let's see how fast we can do it. Let's see, you know, let's do it the right way. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something I haven't really said and thought about until like as we're talking right now. It's like, man, I feel it and I kind of get it, but I haven't really.
I think it's what I think it too, like, and I think it helps us as fathers is recognizing it, because like my wife, she'll tell you she doesn't like the competition aspect of. She'd rather just do something. She doesn't want it to be a competition. She doesn't want it to be this who could do it better, who can. To her, it's like, no, just let me do me. Why do I have to have extra pressure and extra stuff on top of it that's unnecessary, right? For her, it's a practical thing, right? I'm not trying to be, like for her stuff, like I'm sure for her at the gym, right? It's a group that's there, but she's not like, oh, I'm trying to go onto the, CrossFit games and be the fittest one. Like, no. It's just like, I love
the fittest girl in the world.
Yeah, I love doing me. Let me just work out. I don't have to be this crazy.
I love CrossFit. Let me come in and
it don't
hit
have
my
to
gains.
be it don't have to be a competition, right? And but like Charlie, for instance, Charlie is extremely competitive. But for her, it's different because she's not athletic at all. At all. But she is so competitive.
No way.
I'll never forget. And this was years and years and years ago. Her and Danny, we had them like knee wrestling. So like they were doing like almost like you would do a chicken fight in a pool, right?
Yes, yeah.
But they were on their knees, and it was just whoever can push who over first. And I mean, Danny's crazy strong.
Yeah, she's a strong girl.
And at the time, Charlie was like this little frail thing, and Danny kept beating her, and Charlie could not take it.
Wow.
She absolutely couldn't take it. And I think that's part of the drive why she, she reads and studies and is so studious, is because for her it's a competitive thing. She hasn't been expressive about it with, like, she competes with other students more than herself. But that's, it's the same thing. But then take a look at Lily. Like, Lily's just,
she's a
dude,
beast.
she's naturally extremely athletic, but she doesn't give a rip about any kind of competition at all. Nothing. She don't want nothing to do with it.
Wow.
She doesn't want to race you in a foot race. She doesn't want to try to shoot a bat. Nothing. She just wants to do her and have fun. And then Jet's, he gets super, super competitive, but the moment he starts realizing he might not be able to win or it's going to be a little more, you can tell he starts to pull back a little bit. And that's where me as a dad, especially with him being the only boy, not necessarily that the other girls can't, but I think with him, he likes team sports. And I think it's most important in team sports to be able to find some way to use whatever drive you have to help you push past the discomfort to be competitive. Whereas if individual thing, like, you can just have the individual work on themselves and the competition within them. But like having the kids and being able to see it in the kids helps us see it in other people.
Yes, yeah.
Right, because we see them all the time, and they're kids, and they're a little more overt and obvious about what they like and what they don't like. But seeing it them helps us see it in other people.
Yes, yeah.
Like, oh, if I challenge this guy, he doesn't really respond well to it.
Like being able to identify it.
Yeah. He don't really respond well, so maybe I'll try a different approach, or maybe I'll try this. It's just being, basic management of personalities and of people. But I enjoy competition. I don't like losing, but I feel like I can be a good loser, I guess, in a sense, for whatever term that is. Like, it doesn't completely crush me. Like now, I remember we did softball for the church for a while, and people would get super into it, and I'd be like, bro, I'm not doing this anymore.
Right.
It's church softball. Church softball. Dude, you guys
That's
have
crazy.
$700 softball bats for church softball.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Come on. So
That's
I can separate.
You go get that aluminum bat in the attic. Like,
yes,
I'm good.
Yes.
I'm good.
I can separate it.
Yeah.
I can separate it.
Yeah, for sure.
But-
Sure. For sure. I've always been like that about basketball. Like, I like basketball, but I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I the ability to separate is definitely there.
I think it's the most fun to talk trash when you know you don't really care. Like, say with basketball.
It's fun. It's
just
fun.
You remember David Venegas? He's like a shorter, he's Costa Rican. He used to live down the street from us when we lived over at my mom's place. The old house, though, a few houses down. Yeah, he was older than us. He ended up going to he's like an X-ray tech now. David, but he's so good at basketball, and he's way better than me and way better than Dalen. And we used to play all the time though, and I would just talk so much trash because it's fun. I know I'm not that good.
Yeah.
Right.
You're just having fun.
I'm having a blast doing it, and it's a fun, jokey kind of deal.
Yeah.
Like that's when it's fun. But when you're like, okay, this means something.
It's not.
That's when it's different.
It's like, okay,
yeah, that's when it's different.
Like, I don't like playing with Jaron. He jokes around all the time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I get it. I'm the same way. Like, I want to start up with jiu-jitsu with you, and I'm like, I feel like if I lose, like when I lose, I'm not mad at the other person. I feel like the other person prepared more than I did, and it's my fault that I didn't prepare enough.
Yeah.
You know, and so like I take it like really hard, man. It's like I take it like where I wouldn't say like I don't come off as like a sore loser, but I'm obviously like I'm perturbed. I'm upset. I'm like legitimately like mad. Like
Well, jiu-jitsu will do that to you. The number one reason why I signed up and started doing it was because of a guy named Valentino Briones. He was like 100 and he had to be like 150. And at the time I was probably 250, 260. And I had no idea what he was doing when it was like the first like training day or whatever it was. And he was making me feel like a fool.
Wow.
And I was like, there's no way this shouldn't be happening. This should not be happening. And he was just, playing with me.
Wow.
And I was like, dude, I gotta know what's going on here.
Wow.
So that's one thing where even if you are extremely athletic and strong, big, those are advantages that 100% work in your favor. They're undeniable, absolutely undeniable. If you come in with an athletic background and you have good body awareness, I don't care if it's your first day on the mat and you're going up against a purple belt or even some brown belts, and you have that, you have an advantage, and it can be very, very obvious. But there comes a point in the match when that time on the mat takes over, and where there's no making up for getting caught hundreds of times in submissions, getting caught hundreds of times in positions, getting caught hundreds of times in sweeps. There's nothing that makes up for that at all. There's no quick drill, nothing. Unless it's happened to you, it'll continue to happen to you until you do it. You get caught more and more, over. And then you start to make those adjustments, and that's when your game becomes stronger. Because then that's when that whole thing with football, like it used to be talked about, right? It's that like that second nature. It's mental now. It's not even, you're not even thinking about it. It's almost unconscious.
Yes.
But
that's so dope.
Yeah.
That's to me for getting into jiu-jitsu and my little quest of getting into jiu-jitsu now is that's what's so appealing, is that there are so many people like that 150-pound guy can run circles around us. So like for me, that means that my level of mental preparation and technical skill has to be out of this world. And I'm like, oh, like I'm all on it. Like, yes, like let's go. Like it's allowing my brain to move and to work and to spin and just getting my gears going. Like, it's not even about the competition with the other person. It's about how well can I tune myself?
Yeah.
And then now once I can dial into that and I can meditate on that, that's where I'm like, all right, cool.
It's fun, dude.
Yeah.
So fun. I love it. Jiu-jitsu is so fun. I just wish it wasn't so expensive.
I
It's
know.
crazy. But I mean, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
It's
You're getting a killer workout.
dude, super good workout.
And you're
Full
learning
body,
some
full
cool
body
shit.
work. I mean, yeah, there's nothing like it. And then, especially for you in law enforcement,
Yeah.
the applicability of it, when it comes to the close quarters that you guys are constantly in with other people, and I'm beating a dead horse when it comes to law enforcement and jiu-jitsu. I think it should be mandatory, man.
Yeah,
I've heard
man.
somebody say, I don't even know who it was, but I couldn't agree more. In order to even become a law enforcement, you have to be at least a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. That makes so much sense. It's ridiculous.
You know what? I think it would give like a lot of level of confidence in the people that are responding, that are working, for sure.
Well, I think not only that, but something we discussed a while back too, would weed out the people that were like, dude, if I'm doing this with people that I trust in training, just imagine if I do this with somebody in the field,
Yeah.
who, if they get a hold of me, it's game over.
Game over.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this.
It'll really make it'll really make the ones who really want to do it
Yes.
stand out,
Yes.
or who are gonna really prepare. Who's gonna like come in here and not just look at it as a job and a form of payment, and who's really gonna put themselves in a position to be like, hey, this is important,
Yeah.
and this needs to be done.
For sure.
Right? And then when you can start off in that aspect, and one given aspect of even just survivability, right? And even in just like, hey, I need to be able to hold my own if I go down with somebody, right? That's going to translate into other aspects of the field as well, like and whether it's your community presence and how you treat people and how you view people, the level of work you're putting in to understand who you're working for and who you're working with, right? So it's definitely an interesting, it's intriguing.
It's massively applicable to all
Huge.
aspects of just human life, I think.
It's
in general.
it's so dope.
You're so much more calm and aware of everything.
Yeah. Did you see did you see that shooting by that guy in San Bernardino? The officer that showed up at the little liquor store. So that this dude, they get a call on this dude, and I'm kind of paraphrasing from what I've seen, but essentially, a call comes out that this guy is like jumping on cars. He has a gun. It's in San Bernardino in the city. A city copper shows up. It looks like he looks like a youngster. He looks pretty young, pretty big dude. But the dude he was going to have to confront was a big ass dude. And so he's like trying to talk to the guy. The guy is walking away. So you see like the little mannerisms where he's like trying to stay away. He's going. He's being evasive. He's like pulling up his pants, right? So like when you first see the video on scene, he's sagging and shit, and now he's walking around and pulling up his pants. He's pulling up his pants, and I used to sag all the time. You when someone's pulling up their pants, they're preparing themselves for something.
Yep. Whether it's to
And
run,
yes.
fight,
Yeah,
something.
So you can see him doing it. He's kind of holding his waistband, and he kind of goes. It looks like the guy was going to try to go back into like the liquor store, and he was trying to prevent him from entering any kind of structure there. So he goes hand on, hey, come here, man, come here, I need to talk to you. And when he first came on scene, because at first I didn't see the beginning of the video, I didn't see that he showed up with his gun out. I'm like, why? If you knew the guy had a gun, like, why don't you have your shit out? But he did, and at some point he goes hands on. And so they start wrestling, and he takes this big ass dude down quick. And then like now, or they kind of go around a car, and he does a sweep and gets the guy down on the ground, like slams this big ass, like slams the dude on the ground. And like psychologically for this big dude, he's probably walking around deboing everybody all day. And now this smaller dude just manhandled his ass. And he's like, as soon as he hits the ground so hard that he's like, shit, it's over. He tries to go and grab his gun. So he goes and reach out, he pulls a gun, you can see in the video, and the officer jumps back on him, takes him down, immediately gets his back. He's climbing on top of him, and his level of awareness of what was going on and what he felt was just, it's crazy. It's so eloquent to see. And I don't say eloquent to see in the fact that someone lost their life, not at all. As a police officer, you never want to do that. But I mean, from his standpoint of trying to control a situation and understanding and receiving feedback and then having to progress to the next level to protect himself and other people.
For sure.
That's definitely hardcore. So like, at some point the guy starts to pull the gun out, officer disengages, creates space, pulls his gun out, and he has to fire his weapon to protect himself. But I mean, it was cognitively, it was so fluid to where it was just like, boom, hands on, the guy's down, he's off, disengage, and then a shooting.
Did they release anything about him as an officer, his training and his background or anything?
Now, behind the scenes, I've heard that supposedly the guy, he does jujitsu.
Yeah.
He trains jujitsu, and he's pretty good at it. And so now they're like that,
Damn
like
right.
the sweep that he used was a sweep that he learned in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And they were saying like, when we started training on it and learning it from the law enforcement standpoint, like our department doesn't do it, but this is like on my own time. They were saying some of the law enforcement guys were like, yeah, this is the sweep. This is what he did. This is how you do it. And when you're successful, like you can take anyone down with it. And obviously you can see this guy was way bigger than he was.
Yeah.
And he put his ass down hard and then got right on top of him.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, dang, man.
Yeah,
and he's
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
It's
crazy.
clean. It's clean. It was clean. But I think that, like you said, that when it comes to survivability, like if I'm dispatched to a call where a guy's walking on cars with a gun and you show up and obviously the video confirms the guy had a gun and the guy was ready to use it. And he's non-compliant, like you have to show up and you got to show out. We can't have our law enforcement showing up scared and not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
Because like you said, like you always say, that's gonna lead to someone pulling out a gun. They're gonna pull out a gun, and now it's gonna lead straight to a shooting.
Right.
To where if this guy didn't have a gun, he just would have been apprehended, right? Then someone could have been bitching that maybe it seemed a little excessive, but you're receiving a call of someone potentially with the gun who's ready to hurt and harm people.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta act. I mean, that's as law enforcement, that's what you guys are there for. You guys aren't there. I'd say most law enforcement didn't take the job to be just like the bystander that's sitting off to the side watching with the video camera or the cell phone in hand. You guys are the ones that are out there putting yourself in that exact situation that everybody else standing around don't want to be in. And being prepared for it is extremely, extremely vital. But I mean, that's I wonder if they have, that'd be interesting to find. I wonder if they have, because they always have like boxing matches between like law enforcement and fire.
Yeah.
I wonder if they should do a jiu-jitsu matches.
Yeah, Lamar did one. Lamar did boxing.
Department jiu-jitsu matches.
Yeah. I think it's hard to get people to sign up for that even because you see some guys are like EMTs that'll fight like police officers, like the law enforcement games or whatever. I forgot what they call it, but those are dope. It's dope.
Yeah.
But doing jiu-jitsu would be completely different.
So dope. And that would be, dude.
It'd be enlightening because you might get this little EMT guy that's running a police officer.
You get, hey, how many people are, however many, let's say there's 20 guys at your guys' post. It will take your 20 guys and we'll take them against the bottom 20 of this gym.
Yeah.
One-on-one.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And you can find out very quickly how little is known by the people that don't do it.
Yeah.
Right? It's
what you told me it like resonated with me when I was telling you like when I went to the gym to visit, like, Jay, I gotta get into jiu-jitsu, we gotta do it. And I was like, this is crazy because these guys are so knowledgeable and they look like just your average Joe Blows. Like you would never realize it, you would never expect it. And when you said like, yeah, you know what, everyone's humble and everyone's respectful because they all know that they could kill each other. They will hurt and harm each other.
Yes.
At a level and at a speed of like, and you're done.
Over.
You're like, man, like there is a level of humbleness there. And I think
all I know is I gotta hold on to this choke a little bit longer.
Yep.
Lights out.
And you're done.
Or vice versa. You get caught. The only reason you're still breathing is because you just did a little tap.
Yes.
And the person decided to let go.
Yeah.
That's the only
reason why you're still breathing. And
It's
that's
that same.
insane.
So that same energy, with a little bit of mix. Like when you go to big jiu-jitsu competition, that's how that energy. It's so bizarre in there, dude. You have people, like I said, they've been training for forever, and they're there to win gold medals and to get their names moved up in rankings. But at the same time, everybody in there knows that every other person is also a badass. So it's weird. It's weird. It's a weird dynamic that's in there, but it's interesting, man. I love jiu-jitsu. So fun, dude.
Dude, I can't wait to do it with you, man. We can't wait till we start, bro.
We will.
I'm excited.
We'll get to it. Yeah, we got a couple little things lined up. We'll see what happens. I got some feelers out to my old spot over at Gracie Baja, and then some other ones as well, and we'll see what happens. I got geese for you and everything.
Bro, I'm ready. I gotta do some cardio, bro. I gotta drop my gut
Hey,
now,
it's
bro.
Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving on Thursday. I'll start my cardio
next week. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. Ronnie's so good about the gym, and I'm terrible. I don't even get on the bike or
man.
anything at all.
Yeah, her and Sienna wake up early.
That's one thing that the competitiveness is not there.
I'm like, no, man, I want to chill.
Dude, Ronnie's at the gym 5 a.m. several days a week, and I'm just like, baby, do you and have fun doing it, and I'll just enjoy eating and sitting and doing nothing.
Yeah.
But I did a little bit of running around today with my mom's dog just in the backyard, and I was like, my mom was like, "Are you breathing hard?" I said, "Mom, yes, I'm breathing hard. What do you expect? Forget you, man. Let's do a dead sprints and some vapor mags with a twist and ankle."
Bro.
I was dead. I was so tired,
man.
but it was fun. So, cool, man. That's another one. What's this number 4?
Number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah, number 4.
Hey, man, slow progress, but it's progress.
Always.
I'm loving this thing, dude. I love you. Happy
you
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, bro.
Have a good feast.
Yes, of course.
And yeah, we'll do this again.
Sweet.
Next week. Love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
All right, man.
Goodbye.